What's up, guys? Welcome back to Keto Rewind. I am Jess. Thank you for clicking on today's video. I have a fun video for you today. It's laid back. I have basically it's gonna be a what I ate in a day or my full day of eating. Today I'm doing intermittent fasting, so my first meal will be at noon. And my last meal will be at 7, and that is it for me. And then we resume tomorrow. So I have not been practicing intermittent fasting regularly. So I thought that's another thing I'm going to add to my list of my to-do list for my weight loss goals, and just get back into that again. But not every day, but when I can do it, I'm gonna throw it in there. So remember how I said we have a new weight loss challenge? It is the Selfish September Accountability Weight Loss Challenge. And that basically means, Cliff Notes, you have to take care of yourself first. You cannot pour from an empty cup. It is okay to be selfish when it comes to your health goals. One of my biggest regrets in life was letting myself get on the back burner while I took care of everything else in my life. And that got me into the predicament that I'm in now, where I have to undo all those years of just putting myself on that back burner, and I need to make sure I'm making time for me every day. There's 24 hours in the day. I can certainly find a way to fit in a little bit of me time. So first things first, I dropped my kids off a few minutes ago, about a half hour ago, and when I come back from letting my kids off from school, I always take that first half hour and I read. So I have a new Kindle right now, so I've got a good book in there that I'm reading, and I sip on my coffee, and that's how I start my morning. It clears my head, gets me in a great mood. You know, you can get wrapped up in a good story. It's just one of the things that has really helped me lately and keep my moods happy and keep my moods productive. So that is done. And the next thing is I've got to get my workout in. Despite it being triple-digit heat, that does not mean I can't have a workout. I've got to still move my body. Now, thankfully, the meteorologist says tomorrow's our last day of triple-digit heat. We'll be back down in more seasonable or average temperatures for fall for Texas. But that doesn't mean I'm not gonna sweat today and tomorrow. So I just prepare myself mentally. I'm gonna be sweating all day today, and it is what it is. That's life in North Texas. But not an excuse to just sit on a couch all day and do nothing, you know? So I've got to get that release out, and I really enjoy strength training. So I'm gonna go to the garage before it gets really hot out and get my workout in. And today's leg day, I hate leg day, but I always feel good afterwards. And it's starting to get a little easier. This is week 2 of like putting some effort in when it comes to strength training. So the first week I was pretty darn sore. This week it hasn't been as bad. So I'm moving in the right direction, and that's progress. So anyways, with that said, I'm gonna make myself a drink of water, and I'm gonna go get my workout in, and then I'll be back here for lunch. And I've got an easy, quick, delicious lunch for you today. I also have an easy dinner recipe. Again, we have a crazy schedule when it comes to softball and my kids. So I have an easy plop and drop crock pot recipe, and then I have an easy dessert. So what do you say we get this video started? Let's go! And I just want to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Element. Element electrolytes have been my go-to electrolyte for a while now, especially today, because I'm going to be sweating all freaking day. It's great for people that are on keto or low-carb lifestyles that are active. I'm also fasting today until noon. So these delicious electrolytes are going to be that bridge that gets me to my next meal, that keeps my energy levels high, because each packet contains a science-backed ratio of electrolytes. So you're getting 1,000 milligrams sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium in each packet. And it's so easy to do. I just take one packet of the electrolytes and I put it in my 40-ounce container of water, and I sip on it all throughout the workout until I get to lunch, and then I'll start refilling it with water at that point forward. I like to pre-hydrate in addition, because tonight's forecast is like 103 or something when we have softball practice, and it is so hot. So I try to make sure I'm very hydrated before we start even sweating at a much higher level, because I'm gonna go do strength training in the garage, but it's not gonna be as intense as the 103-degree heat, you know, because it's still morning, right? Another reason why I love these electrolytes are they taste delicious. They help me get my water in so that I can stay hydrated, and they're gluten-free, sugar-free, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors, you know, all that jazz. Just a great electrolyte. So if you would like to give Element a try, you can get this free sample pack of all the flavors they have. Try it out for yourself, find your favorite. I love the watermelon and raspberry. My husband loves the citrus and orange, and my kids love all of them. And my kids will swipe my water bottle and sip on it too. So they're kid-friendly and delicious. But you can get this free sample pack with any order using my special link down below. You can use it as many times as you want, but it's only available through me. So head on over to drinkelement.com/keto rewind. That is DRINKLMNT.com/keto rewind. Thanks, Element, for sponsoring this video. I have stalled enough. Now it's time to go get my workout in. Okay, so it is now time for lunch. Let's head on over to the kitchen and make us some yummy lunch. I am hungry. Almost hangry. I had a great workout. It was productive. But now it's time to make this delicious recipe. So I have made this recipe several times, but I always forget to film it. But you can use, I'm using my air fryer. There we go. But you can throw this in the oven. I just like the air fryer because it cooks a little quicker. And that's just because I'm super hungry. So let me flip the camera around and I'll show you what we're working with. Okay, so I have eggs. I have some delicious cheese. This is my absolute favorite cheese. I have my delicious salsa. I have some Canadian bacon I'm gonna cut up. And I don't use these wraps often. It's not something I wanna rely on. But once in a while, eggs by themselves can get boring. So I'll do this, once or twice a month or something, but I don't have this every day. And for those of you, like my husband, who can't do gluten, these ones do have gluten, so it's not the best of ingredients. But unfortunately, it does have, I believe, 5 grams of protein. There it is, 5 grams of protein. So it's like, ugh. I like the fact that you can add some protein easily, but anyways, so all you're gonna need is actually, let me put the camera down. Okay, so all you're gonna need is some type of a baking dish. They make little liners that the air fryer you can put in the air fryer. I'm just not that person. We're going to just lightly spray this, and then I'm gonna put a little piece of parchment paper in here to make sure my egg comes out of the air fryer. So let me go grab that. Okay, so I'm just putting a piece of parchment paper in here because there's nothing worse than sticky eggs in places you don't want it to stick. So that's just a little liner. Then I'm gonna spray it again just so that it comes out. All right, so the noise in the background is my, what do you call it? My robot that cleans the floors. What do you call that? A shark, Roomba, whatever it's called. So don't mind the noise, and I'm also gonna have to preheat my air fryer. So you're gonna take 1 tortilla and put it in here like this. And then we're gonna add 3 eggs in there. Okay, so 1 egg. I've always done 3 eggs when I do keto. I don't know why, but it's what I do. And now we're gonna I'm gonna wash my hands and I'm gonna season it up. So the noise in the background is my air fryer preheated to 350 degrees. And the first thing I'm gonna do is season up my eggs with a little salt. Then I don't like runny yolks, so I'm just gonna give this a little stir in here. Because at the end of the day, you do you. All right, that's good enough for me. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is add in salsa. Now, all salsas are not created equal. Make sure you read the label. I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons in here. And if you haven't put salsa in your eggs, you are missing out. It's a game changer. And then I'm gonna add a serving of cheese, which is a 1/4 cup. I'm using this hatch pepper cheese. It is, oh my God, it's so freaking good. I'm gonna put a quick little layer, and then I wanna put my meat on there in between. So I'm gonna take some scissors and just thinly slice a serving of the Canadian bacon. Should have got a plate for this, but it's kind of like putting ham in, you know, an omelet kind of thing, that same flavor. I really love Mexican omelets. I just love Mexican omelets. If I go out to a restaurant, I will always order it that way. So this is my take on that with a healthier twist. I just realized this is 4 slices. I only need 3, so I'm not gonna put all of this in there. Okay, so our next step is to put the remaining cheese on top of the 1/4 cup. And that is ready for the air fryer. So we look like this at this point. So then I like to kind of like just pull this in so that this tortilla kind of makes its own little bowl. You know, kind of like that. And I'm gonna give it a quick spray on top with a little of that, and then we're gonna go right into the air fryer. And you're gonna wanna cook this low and slow. If not, you'll burn your tortilla. All right, we'll be back. Oh, it smells so good. And there you have it. All right, so I'm just gonna put a couple parsley flakes on the top and some sour cream. I forgot to grab that. All right, we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of sour cream. Good enough. I tried to make it fancy, but I couldn't. So on the side, I'm also gonna do this lemon tart Greek yogurt. This one is sweetened with stevia, has 15 grams of protein. And that, my friends, is delicious lunch. So look at that. It's got the crunch of the tortilla. It's got egg, it's got my meat, it's got salsa. It is perfect. So let's see if I can bite into this for you. Not making too big of a mess. Look at that. Does that not look perfect? Hot. Okay, so we're gonna make a chicken stew. So all you're gonna need, if you want to hand dice peppers, onions, and celery up, you can, or you can get them frozen. It's cheaper, easier, faster, and fresher, and more nutritious. So that's why I'm using frozen. I also can get the zucchini. I have some canned tomatoes, chicken stock, and some spices, and a little over 2 pounds of diced chicken. So watch how easy this plop and drop meal is. Okay, so we have softball tonight, so I need crock pot meals because we either eat at the, right after school or at 9 o'clock, no in between. So if I can get something already done when we come home, then we're eating by like 7:30 at the latest. So instead of having to start a whole meal. So that was a cup of chicken stock. And then I'm gonna add my chicken right to the pan, right to the crock pot, I should say. Wash my hands real quick. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is add in my peppers, my onions, my celery. Put that right on top. Just like that. And then I'm gonna open up my diced tomatoes real quick. All right, throw these in here. And I'm kind of going on with my own take on this recipe. The recipe does not call for zucchini, but I want a hearty stew. So I'm gonna add some zucchini right in there. A whole bag. And then now it's time to season it up. All right, so now it's time to season it up. A little salt. A little pepper. Let me grab the garlic, throw some garlic in here, and season it up how you want it. I like a lot of spice, I'm not afraid of spice. Some thyme, just a little bit in here, and some oregano. And that is all there is to it. I'm gonna give it a quick stir, and I'm gonna put this on low for like 3 hours, and by the time we come home today, it will be ready. So, as easy as that. Oh, it smells so good already. All right, smush it down in there so everything's in the juices. And I'm gonna cover it up, and we'll be back at the next step. Give you a better angle here. Look at all of that color. Is that not perfect or what? Okay, so I will put the lid on the old crock pot, and we'll be back. Okay, so let's make some protein ice cream. I have 2 different ways to make this. One is simply using your favorite protein powder that's keto or low carb. This is the one I'm using. It's the Dutch chocolate by Isopure. There's 25 grams, I think, of protein. Yeah, 25 grams. So that one, it's super easy and delicious. They have a bunch of flavors. The other one I'm gonna do is the old-fashioned cottage cheese recipe with a little bit of PB2, and yeah. So let me show you the recipe. Let's start with the protein powder because that's the easiest one. You're gonna want to get some unsweetened. You want some unsweetened almond milk. About halfway up is 8 ounces. So this is the fill line that I'm basing that off of. And there's just a whisker left in here, so we're gonna just use it up. And next, all we're gonna do is you can stop at 1 scoop, or I want it extra chocolatey, so I'm gonna do 2 scoops, and that would make it only about 220 calories. If you ate the entire container, which I'm not going to. This is gonna be for me and Kyle. Down at the bottom here. And 2. So now, all I'm gonna do is take the little milk frother, you could use a whisk, and mix this all up. And the cool thing about the Ninja Creamy is you can make whatever flavor combination that you want, and just have fun with it. So as simple as that is my custom ice cream flavor. And you don't add any of the mix-ins until after this part freezes. So just like that, we are all mixed and blended. All we're gonna do is put the lid on and stick this in the freezer for it to freeze up. And then you do part 2. And meanwhile, let's make our cottage cheese version. And the cool thing also about the Ninja Creamy is you don't have to puree this. When this makes it into ice cream, it'll puree the chunks out of the cottage cheese. So we're gonna add in 1 cup. And it's just like the almond milk. I only have a little bit extra, so we're just gonna use it up. All right, now we're gonna sweeten it. I'm using my favorite keto sweetener. This is Bocha Sweet, but use whatever one your go-to is. And I'm gonna put 2 tablespoons right in there. And then, because I wanna do a peanut butter cheesecake flavor, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of PB2. Now, since this one's a lot thicker, we gotta use the old-fashioned whisk. And just give it a little mixy mix. And then at this point, you can tell if it's sweet enough for your taste. If you want more of a peanut butter flavor, add more peanut butter. If you want to add any other flavor combinations, at the time you would add it here. Not the mix-ins, the flavor combinations. All right. And I'm just going to use a regular spoon real quick. Make sure that's good and mixed. And that is ready for the freezer as well. This one is my favorite. There's such flavor with cottage cheese. So that's what it looks like. We're gonna put the lid on it just like the other one and stick it in the freezer, and we'll be back in 3 hours. Okay, so we have been at practice. It is now around 7 o'clock and my stew has been cooking while we have been at practice. So it's a win, a total mom win. Dinner's ready when we got home. I did mix this an hour and a half into the cook before we left. So I mixed it once between the 3 hours that it took to cook. So I served it up and I got 4 servings out of this crock pot. This is something that I'll probably double in the future. And for my kids' bowls, I did add a little rice to theirs. But my husband and I just skipped that and we did Parmesan cheese instead, which was oh my gosh, it was perfect, chef's kiss. So I just poured some on there, about 2 tablespoons worth, and that is what it looks like. My kids ate it up, they loved it, super crowd pleaser and a mom win. And then for dessert, let's do the protein ice cream that we made earlier. That's also been in the freezer doing its thing while we were at practice. And the first one is gonna be the one that I used the protein powder. So that's just to catch you up. I did 1 cup of almond milk and then I added 2 scoops of protein powder. And after it's been in the freezer for around 3-4 hours-ish, that's what it looks like, and not as appetizing, but watch this magic. I'm gonna put this in the Ninja Creamy and put it on the light ice cream setting. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. It's a little dry, so I just add the tiniest little splash of cream, maybe like a teaspoon, just to give it some wetness. And this is the result. It is, wait for this. The suspense, oh, if you need one of these things. Look at that. Does that not look like a Wendy's Frosty? Is that not absolutely perfect? Oh man, look at the texture, and that is so much better, so much healthier than any of the frozen store-bought ice creams you can get out there, and it's packed with protein. So you could eat this entire thing for like 220 calories and like 50 grams of protein, although I did not. My husband and I split this. And then here's the cottage cheese one, just to give you a show of what it looks like. That is what it looks like before it goes through the spin, and same thing, put it on the light ice cream setting. It'll do its thing, and then that is what it looks like. So now you're gonna add your mix-ins at this point, but look you could stop at this point and just have this delicious like peanut butter cheesecake taste. The texture's fantastic. This one could have used a whisker longer in the fridge to get it a little harder. So keep that in mind. And then I'm just gonna add a serving of chocolate chips, one for me and one for Kyle. And then I just like to have these so I can have them made up in the fridge ready to go. And then put this one, this time instead of using the light ice cream, you would hit the mix in button. And then that is what it looks like. So it just gives it a quick little mix for you. And oh my goodness, so delicious and packed with protein. So next up, I have the macros for the day. I was a little off on the fat, but everything else a little over here and there. But I am pretty happy with the day. I have some ideas to work on. I haven't tracked in such a long time. So it's good to do this and see I'm way off on the fat, a little over on the carbs, way over in protein. So I need to probably reset my settings to high protein keto, because I'm used to eating that much protein in a day. So in all, it was a great learning experience, and I'm gonna keep tracking and keeping accountable. Have a great day. And don't forget, you can use my link down below to get yourself a free sample pack of electrolytes with any order.